so that's good. All right. Welcome to our last team call of May 2016. We have a guest speaker today, Miss Traci Warren, and I have a little summary to read to you guys, which you probably read yourself because you can read, but I want it in the call for the context of people watching this later. So Miss Traci is a mom of 4, and I wrote in very capital letters that she's a rock star because she homeschools all 4 of those kids. Well, I assume. She homeschools some of them. I don't know how old they are. One of them might not be in school, but same point. And she is a 5-star coach who's been elite for the last 2 years. She's an all-star legend, which is 24 months in Success Club 10. Very exciting. You get a fancy trophy. You get to walk across stage and everything. Mine's back there. They're clear, so you can't really see it. But she actually took the Institute for Integrative Nutrition cert. Who else has that? That's one of my favorites. It's the one I recommend when coaches want to get a nutrition cert. Big fan. They email me every day. They really email too much, but great certification. She's also a John Maxwell speaker. She's certified for that, and she's a trainer. She's certified in PIO, Insanity, and Turbo. So lots of credentials. That means you should listen to her. So what I love about her is that when she sets a goal, she has all this other stuff going on, right? It took me longer to read that to you than most people work their business a day. She takes her goal and does reverse engineering. And I'm really excited about that because that's how my mind works. I'm not as good at making just starting and going and seeing where it all goes. I'm where do I want to go? What do I need to do to get there? So I think she'll be really, really helpful. And I'm going to unmute, and then I'm going to pin her video. I'll mute myself.
Am I there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. There you are. Yes.
Okay. Yay. Okay. So stay on with me for just a second because I have a question. I am curious to see if I switch my phone this way. Am I sideways to you, or are you still okay?
Let us unfreeze. Hold on. You're frozen for 1 second, but it'll unfreeze.
Okay.
Usually when you turn the phone, it just gets a wider shot. I've only done a few of them on my phone.
Okay. Well, hopefully this will be okay. Can you still see my face?
Well, we can see a frozen version of your face, right?
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to start talking, and then if you need to interrupt me to make me look different, then I will. I'm actually looking at a screenshot and not your all's faces for right now, because my 2-year-old decided to crunch my toenail clippers inside my laptop yesterday. So I'm working from my phone and looking at a tiny little version of my notes for you for tonight. So bear with me, but it'll be good content. It just might mean that I'm looking at you a little strange. And so for that, I apologize. But thank you, Amber, for having me. Thank you guys for coming to hear about this unknown person named Traci Warren. And I am honored to hopefully give you guys some good nuggets to think about. What we're going to talk about is reverse engineering Success Club, the good old Success Club that we all just harp and talk about Success Club all the time. And while we know that this is 80% mindset, 20% mechanics in this business, we're going to talk a bit about both. But Success Club, of course, absolutely starts with that mindset. And to kind of preface this, if you will, give me just a minute, I would love to share with you kind of my background with Success Club. And I have been a coach since I started officially in August of 2011, and then actually started coaching a couple of months later. And that first year, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. My upline coach didn't really know what she was doing all that much. She was making her way, you know, she's super helpful and everything, but we were all just trying to figure it out, you know? And so that first year, I really, because I had so much personal growth I had to do on myself, I did not make Success Club every month that first year. Okay. It was here and there. I was excited and I was plugging along, but did not make it happen all the time. That second year as a coach, I did hit Success Club 5 every month of the year. Year number 3, I missed Success Club 10 in January and then hit it the rest of the year. And then last year hit Success Club 10 and beyond every month of the year. So that's kind of my Success Club history. I think that's kind of helpful for some people to know. I'm always curious about that when I talk to other top coaches. And so maybe you're not a huge Success Club point earner. It does not mean that you can't go far in this business, because mine, I want to say my record is only like, I don't know, 33 points a month. And those were earned in the beginning of last year. January of last year, I had a system in place, keyword there, system, and a flow, a funnel for incoming people that was working great for me. So it was about 30, 25, 30 points through the spring of last year. Facebook algorithms changed, lovely as they are, and my system went kaput. And honestly, I've been trying to get that system back ever since. So I tell you that to say, had I not had the mindset that I was going to stick to this and I was going to make it work, I would have thrown in the towel a long, long time ago. But I knew that there was a missing piece, and I will die figuring it out, and I will die putting that piece into place again, that system that I know works, okay? So that system may be slightly different for you. It may be slightly different for me. For me, it was using Facebook and directing people to my freemium, which was a sugar detox guide, and then filtering them into a free group to take them through that sugar detox guide for a week, okay? So a free group essentially. And that was working for me. And so anyway, now I know beyond the shadow of doubt that this works, right? It's just a matter of getting the right ads, targeting the right people. And those are the 20%. That's the logistics, right? Of what we were talking about. But had I not had that solid 80% belief and the right mindset, I would have given up on the system a long, long time ago and said, it doesn't work. It's not worth the cost. It's not worth my time. It's not worth the headaches and that kind of thing. So I need you to just understand that the belief comes first. All of this is for nothing if the belief and conviction is not there, okay? So what I'm going to do is kind of twofold. I'm going to go through what I have put together as Reverse Engineering Success Club, and then I'm actually going to just give you my ugly little notes for my own month of May. Because this year, like I said, I'm still trying to get that crazy system back in place where I'm finding the exact right ads that are working for me. And so I have had what I call low points in January, February, March, and April. Have still hit Success Club 10 and beyond, but not much farther than that. However, what I finally did for the month of May was just enough is enough. And I'm going to tell you what I've done to boost my numbers for May, okay? So, Success Club Reverse Engineered. What we've got to be able to do is to invite, okay? If you are not willing to invite, you will not hit Success Club, okay? So I will get this graphic to Amber after the call. Hopefully I can get to it from this YouTube video that I'm actually looking at. But basically, it starts with the invite, okay? Now, in order for us to invite people, we have to prospect them. Now, if you think of prospecting, the old prospector, just like in Toy Story, he would be sifting, right? You're sifting through rocks, you're sifting through dirt, you're sifting through looking for the gold nuggets. That's all we're doing here. We're prospecting, we're sorting the yeses and the nos, the not nows and the yeses and the yeses and the nos, and on and on. There's no emotion attached to that. We don't get upset at the pan if there's not a gold nugget in there, because we know that they're few and far between, right? It's going to take maybe 10 no's in order to find a yes. And so we just, without emotion attached to it, we keep prospecting, we keep sifting and sorting through. I think once I understood that whole concept in the background, it helped me move forward mentally to be able to accept what I previously had thought of as rejection. It's not rejection, it's just sifting through, right? So in order to prospect, and I apologize, let me look at this closer. In order to prospect effectively, there has to be two things. One is desire. This is a desire for you to get the goal, to get the yeses. If that desire is not there, there's no sense in you prospecting. And that desire's got to be pretty deep, because you may go through a lot of pans of just dirt and rubble before you get to the goal. So the desire must be attached to the prospecting. You also have to have a belief, and a belief in what I broke down as two different things: a belief in the products and a belief in the opportunity. And you could include a belief in yourself as well. So those two things are crucial to prospecting. Are you with me so far? So we've got inviting, then off of inviting, we've got prospecting, and two little caveats there for prospecting: you got to have desire and you have to have belief. Okay, so if you are going to be prospecting and inviting, what are three other things that you're going to need to have in order to invite effectively? You have to have a plan. You got to know what you're inviting to. You have to know when it's going to happen. You have to, sorry here. Oh yeah, and you've got to have time blocked. Can you turn that back on, please? Thank you. You've got to have the time blocked off. There are a lot of coaches where this is the stopping point for them in the reverse engineered kind of map, if you will. And that is that they have no problem prospecting, but they haven't blocked off the time. They haven't made the time commitment. And so at the end of the day, they get to bedtime. Are you still there? They get to bedtime and they have lost it. The day is gone and they haven't done anything yet. So that is absolutely crucial. Now, in order to, are you guys still there? Somebody
Yeah.
Okay, yay. Okay. So in order for you to do the prospecting, to do the inviting, you have to enjoy conversation. Now, this was kind of a stopping point for me at some point, because I am an introvert, okay? So this business does work pretty well for me because I can hide a lot of times behind my computer or the phone, and I just trust that there are those of you who are alive on the other end, you know, and I can turn on my type A personality. I can turn on the extrovert, but for me to recharge, that is alone time. Like, I was over on the couch just chilling out. My husband thought that I was asleep before the call, because I need that time to refuel. So I don't always enjoy conversation. And I went through a really long time. I'm probably one of the most vulnerable coaches that you will meet. And I will tell you straight up as it is. If you ever have a question, you'll just ask me. I'll give you the honest answer. I would not check my Facebook responses. These are people who were responding to my invites. I would not check them. I wouldn't read them, because I was sure that it was going to be a no. I was sure that it was going to be some objection that I didn't even want to deal with, because I'm that much of sort of an independent person that doesn't necessarily need the conversation to be fulfilled. So I've really had to work through that. And now I'm enjoying talking with you guys. I enjoy having conversations, especially with my coaches, because that's my comfort zone, right? But I still have to put myself out there every single day to make an effort to enjoy conversation. What I have found that helps me in this area is to do my personal development first, right? And if it's my personal development early in the morning, then sometimes what I'll do right before I invite, or right before I go into Messenger, right before I'm sending messages of any sort, dealing with people, I will listen to some Les Brown, Tony Robbins, get myself fired up, and into a positive frame of mind. And that way, when I hit the record for my voice message, that totally comes through. And their words become my words, and their energy becomes my energy, which passes on the positive energy to them. So especially if you are on the introvert side and struggle with enjoying conversation, I would highly recommend that. But that's going to be a good tip for anyone to do. Now, in order to enjoy conversation, we kind of have to have a level of self-assurance. Now, as you can see, if I was not enjoying conversation and wanting to even open up people's messages, there was a lack of self-assurance there. I so much believed that people were going to tell me no, that I didn't even want to open their messages. So you have to have some self-assurance, and all of this is connected, right? If you don't have the self-assurance, then what? We have to do some personal development and surround yourself with supportive people who are good in, like, just your team, the growth environment, and maybe a success partner, maybe an accountability partner, maybe a mentor or two that are going to help you grow to achieve the self-assurance. I actually also have started listening to Chalene Johnson's Courageous Confidence Club. Just yesterday, I started listening to those, and that I've committed to just doing. I'm not going all in, like right this very second, but I'm going to listen to 10 minutes of that a day until I get through it, because that's going to help fuel the self-confidence that I have and the self-assurance that is needed to enjoy conversation, which is needed to prospect people, which is needed to invite people, which is needed to hit Success Club. So that is essentially reverse engineering Success Club. And like I said, a lot of that, the mechanics are up at the top, but that 80% foundation is all stuff up here that we have to work through. So when you have that broken down, and there, when I get the graphic to you, you'll see there's a couple little branches that partner off, break off. You'll be able to look at your month. I would encourage you to go back and look at your April, look at your May, and see where were my stopping points. Just like if you think of in acupuncture, there are lines of energy that flow through the body. And when there's a blockage, there's pain or some inflammation associated with that blockage of energy. So if you imagine these as, a flow of energy, where was the blockage? And when we clear that blockage, we're going to have more energy flow, which means that you will hit higher results, right? One thing that one of my coaches, I had gone over this with her, and she said her stopping point was not necessarily sending the invite and not necessarily prospecting, but it was figuring out who to prospect. And so we talked through that, and basically the end result is you can prospect anybody on the entire planet, right? Obviously the ones that are in the countries that we work with would be a better option, but to make that judgment call for somebody else, that's not our role. So that is also one of the little branches that you'll see. But I think that if you have the roadmap, you have all of these energy points, and you can see where your blockage has been and then be able to work through that, then you're going to have greater success. Okay. So that's kind of piece number one to my little chat tonight. And then for the second part, this goes back, and this is all like, I was telling my coaches earlier today, I was like, man, I should have been on Amber's call like next week after I get my May numbers, because this is still like fresh and I'm in the middle of it, but it's going so well that I feel confident sharing with you what I'm doing and how I've changed things this month, because there's a stark difference this month over my months in 2016 leading up until now. So like I said, January Success Club 10, February Success Club 11, March 10, April 10. This month, I have decided that, okay, so that's key. Let me just back up. I decided, that's the number one piece right here. And I'm backing up again. When I made that switch from hitting Success Club 5 inconsistently to hitting it consistently, that was a decision. That was a business decision. It wasn't an emotional decision. It was a business decision. This is what I'm going to do for my business, okay? And then I was at the point where I was living in fear, and I would save points for the next month. I was so afraid that if I had Success Club 7, that I wouldn't hit 5 the next month, you know? And I know some of you have been there. Don't do it. Don't do it. Even if it's on the last day of the month and you've got somebody saying, hey, sign me up, sign them up. Don't tell them to wait until the next day. That's living in fear that you are not going to have enough points for the following month. Smack your own hand and don't do it anymore, because you will push yourself. You'll rise to the occasion that following month, and you'll get the extra points when you've decided that that is non-negotiable for you, okay? So that was what I did. When I made that switch to quit getting Success Club 5 inconsistently, and then I started hitting it consistently, okay? And then what happened was hit it for a year, and then I decided this is not cutting it. The people who are where I want to be are reaching Success Club 10 and beyond. That must be my minimum. That has to be my benchmark, where I will not sleep until I'm at least at Success Club 10. And so I decided, and that decision was made. That was sealed, deal was sealed. And so now that is consistency for me, and nothing will happen until, like, mommy won't go out of her house or whatever until she reaches Success Club 10. Now I have decided that that number is 20. I will not rest until I reach Success Club 20 every single month. And so what I did, because my numbers have been half of that, was this month I decided I was going to help 20 people. I wasn't just going to hit Success Club 20, but between my husband's account and my account, I was going to help 20 people. That was essentially quadrupling what I've been doing in 2016. Okay. So here I'm thinking, okay, I've been hitting Success Club 10 regularly. Now I'm saying that I'm going to hit Success Club 40 between those two accounts. Okay. How's that going to happen? Because I have felt like I'm pulling teeth to get 10 points. So what I did, and here's my list that I'm going to share with you exactly what I've done, and it's happening. It is happening. Okay, first what I did was I looked back at my April numbers and figured out how many people did I invite in April. And then I basically had to quadruple that, right? Because I wanted to quadruple my results, so I needed to quadruple my output. So you'll need to know, which is why you need to be tracking your numbers. How many did you invite, and how many do you need to invite to make that goal happen? Now, I will say that this month, my follow-ups are a lot better than last month. So I may not need to invite quadruple in order to quadruple my results, because my follow-ups are better. So I made out, okay, so number one is to look back at your numbers, okay? And figure out what you need to do to double your output, to triple your output, to quadruple your results. How much do you need to do in order to make that happen? Okay, that's number one. Number two, I made out 20 packets, welcome packets for my coaches and my customers. If I'm so confident that I am going to be enrolling those people, and I believe that I'm going to enroll those people, then I need to back that up with something tangible. So for me, that expressed itself. I've got them right here, the ones that have not been mailed yet, and went ahead and made those out. Somebody will ask me, what do you put in those? Now, this can be anything. My new coaches who don't have a lot to spend and don't want to spend much, what I would suggest is a handwritten note. And then what I also do is I get lots and lots of Post-its, and I will take off about, 5 or 6, and then I will write on there just wanted to send you a few Post-its so that you can write affirmations on them and post them around your home or in your car so you can see them. And then what I'll do is I'll flip to the next one and I'll go ahead and write one. I'll put, like, I'm an unstoppable freaking rock star. And that way they understand what is an affirmation and it gets them rolling and they can go ahead and post that somewhere else. That does not increase the amount of postage for a regular greeting card. And that way, if you want to send something but not spend a lot, that would be a decent idea. What I include are success magazines that we can buy in I think it's the Coach Online Office store, but I buy tons and tons of them and they're great. So I include that. I include some of the Post-its. I include a pencil and a notebook so that they can start jotting down either thoughts or their food. And I just get those either in Target, Dollar Spot, that kind of thing. And then I had some pins made up for our team. So sometimes I'll throw one of those in. And then if it's a coach, I always include a packet or two of Beachbody Performance. And that way, that is helping them get introduced to even more products past their challenge pack. Okay, so back on track. I made out my packets, and that was step number 2. Then what I did for step number 3 was basically brainstorm, just dump a ton of different ideas on paper. It looked like a mess. I really had to spend time going back through and reading my notes to see what are all of the options. When you're brainstorming something like this, every single possible option should go on the sheet. This is not a time when you're crossing something out because it's not doable for you, okay? This is just what if and what if and what if. What if I ran an ad for a sneak peek and had 1,000 people in it? What if I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, created 4 challenge groups this month. What if I invited 10,000 people to an event and boosted it? Like we're just dumping a bunch of crazy ideas on the paper. Then what I had to do was to sort through those and figure out, okay, what are going to be my top producing ideas here? Which ones are going to be doable for my lifestyle because I've got 4 kids and I essentially have a full-time job working and teaching them. So what is going to work for me in order to make this happen? And I'll go ahead and share with you what I did and then a couple of roadblocks along the way because that may be helpful as well. So I started with an event on my personal page. I also created one on my like page, but that one really didn't go anywhere, even though I boosted it. The one on my personal page, though, I basically maxed out the number of invites. And I don't know if Facebook has the same number for all of us or not, but my max out number for inviting to an event was 487. What it is about 487, I don't know, but that's how many they allowed me to invite, okay? So that was and this is May, right? So we had the size challenge pack on sale. I invited to a size summer strong dance party. I didn't call it size, I just said summer strong dance party. And that was what I called it. That was what I invited 487 people to. Now, here's where I did something different that I haven't normally done. I outsourced with an assistant, and you could go to upwork.com and pay somebody not very much, $4, $5 an hour to do this for you. And trust me, it has been worth it. I gave her a message that said something along the lines of, hey there, I know you probably get so many event invites and you're so busy, you may not have even seen this, but I wanted to invite you to a Summer Strong dance party that I'm holding on this date. If I send you some details about it, would you be up for checking it out? And so I had the assistant send that short message to every single person on that 487 list. Now, you and I know both that we get invited to all kinds of events. I don't pay attention to half of them. I really don't. I don't have time to go, who invited me to an event today and what was it? I can't wait to go. Like, I don't have time for that. So chances are people were not even seeing my event, okay? So by having her send that message, to me, that's a lot easier of a message to send. And again, I'm the introvert. That was a lot of an easier, smooth way to send a message rather than a traditional invite personal message where I was saying, you know, here's what I've got going on. Would you like to participate? You know what I mean? This is more like, hey, I know you've been busy. You probably didn't even see the event. Just wanted to draw your attention to it and see if you'd like any more information about it. And I've gotten a lot of response from that, a lot. So I would encourage you to take that route, play with it, see what happens. Now, I will say that the size event has not converted nearly as well as my bikini boot camp, which I'm using max 30 for. Now, couple things here. Why did I switch gears? One, I switched gears because I maxed out at 487 invites, and I'm like, dude, I've got more to invite. I've got to quadruple my output this month in order to quadruple my results. So that was roadblock number one. I had to figure out, what am I going to do? Am I going to create a second size event and just give it a different time of day? I could have done that. I thought about doing that, but I didn't feel like the size challenge packs were converting as well with people. However, when I created the Bikini Bootcamp event page, people were accepting and giving me their email addresses and their Shakeology flavors before I even started inviting to it. Like, they must have just somehow seen it. By the grace of God, he put that in their path, and people were saying yes. I had 3 people say yes to that event before I started inviting to the Bikini Bootcamp event. So now what am I doing? I'm maxing out my invites for the Bikini Bootcamp event. And so that's been kind of the second half of the month, which is now where all this flurry of activity has happened, and I've already reached at least half of my goal. And I guarantee that I am gonna, if I don't hit 20 people, I'm gonna be darn close to it because of this. So number 3 step was to brainstorm all the ideas and then pick which ones that are gonna work for you. Okay. Number 4 was to enlist help. If you're gonna go big like this, and these would be great tips for like a team cup month, or what was the fall classic? Yeah, I'm looking at my banner up here. The fall classic, when you are really upping your game, but why not create a month of your own like that? You know, in June, that's what I did for May, and it's reinvigorated my business. And for me, I don't know if it's the same way for you, but for me, when I create a goal, it has to be big and ridiculous for me to get excited and get behind it. I would not have gotten excited about saying, if I'm normally hitting Success Club 10, about saying that I'm going to hit, sorry, I'm trying to find you guys on the screen again. Okay, that I'm going to hit Success Club 12. Like that wouldn't fuel my fire at all. It wouldn't light me up. I just couldn't care less about a small increase like that. I have to have something big and ridiculous to really get behind it and get excited and go after it. Okay, so you have to enlist help if you're gonna make this happen. And the sooner that you just go out on a limb, if you have not hired anybody to help you, just do it. Go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com, Fiverr. Hire somebody to do something, even if you don't really need it. Just to pay $5, you pay $5 for the job, to have somebody do something and give you that confidence of delegating. You have to learn how to delegate to I feel like, to be a top coach in this business. Number 5, I RPM'd my days. Now, what does that mean? RPM. Tony Robbins is the RPM creator, the master, and that is, R is for results, P is for purpose, and M is for massive action plan. RPM, results, purpose, massive action plan. And so I did that for my day. I divided, I really just maxed out my days in terms of figuring out what's my purpose, why am I doing this, what are the results that I'm after today, and then what's my massive action plan to get me there. That's number 5. So I'm being much more intentional about how I'm spending my time this month, and making sure that I have thought through. In my case, I'm thinking through, okay, so while the kids are doing guitar, then I'm going to be sending this message. And then when the kids are doing geography, I'm going to be doing this. And so really maximizing those little pockets of time that I have. Number 6 is I have decided to listen to Les Brown and read Think and Grow Rich daily. Those two things are what I'm working on. I have already been working on the book Think and Grow Rich and actually studying that. So that's just a continuation of for me for that personal development, but then committing to, and I'm actually listening to this very same Les Brown video every day. I'm not even finding a new one. I'm just listening to the same one over and over and over. It's one that I like and it fuels me up. So that's number 6. Number 7, sharing accountability and sharing what I'm doing. Now I've told all of you guys this ridiculously big goal for me. And so I shared it with my team, shared it with my husband. The kids know this is what's happening, and they're keeping track of how many points mom has. And then number 8 is, I messed up my numbers and forgot number 2, but I'll tell you what it is, okay? Number 8 is I'm focusing on the good. So when I have loads of people that don't respond to my messages, I'm not going to focus on that. I don't have time for that. I'm sending out, 1,000 messages. I don't have time to focus on the people who aren't responding to me. I've got a lot of messages to send out, and a lot of people, because of that number that are going out, I've got a ton of people that I got to get back to. And I am not being afraid of answering those messages. I'm being very positive because I've done the personal development right before I go into Messenger, being very positive about the outcome of those conversations. And even if they're not ready, then I'm going to plug them into something. I'm going to make sure that I've added value to that person, even if they're not ready, even if it's a no. And I'm good with that. So focusing on the good is huge. Now, if you want to make a little arrow up at the top, I had listed at number 2 was to actually make your list of the 20 people, or whatever number it is for you, make it 5 or whatever, and fill those names in. Just, like when you're in a push to diamond or a push to emerald and you're making your dream team out, write out who these people are. You have to know who it is that are your dream team for the month, and start focusing on those, because you'll be much more intentional about commenting on their post, about sending them a follow-up, about making sure that they're alive and well when you know who these people are that you're focusing on. Okay, so it's just like tracked numbers grow. I feel like tracked people come closer to you if you have names in those spots, you know what I mean? So write down names, even if it feels scary, even if they seem like they might never want this, but if they're on your goal list, your dream list of people to work with, write them down on the list. Okay, so you have to start with that list. Okay, and I believe, yes, exactly, law of attraction, it's true. It is so true. And it seems so hard to understand and believe when you haven't done that growth yet. We on our team have been working through, like I said, Think and Grow Rich in a mastermind group with a John Maxwell coach. And the first assignment that we had to do with that book was to start at chapter 9. Don't start with chapter 1, you start with chapter 9, and you read chapter 9 for 14 days in a row. You have to read it once a day for 14 days. The chapter's on persistence. And so it's great, it's really great, and it's really ironic, and you get to the point where you're just like practically memorizing it, and it does get faster to read through because, you pretty much know what's coming next. But it's a fun challenge, and it is a challenge because it's not a short chapter. But anyway, that's getting a little off topic, but that really has helped, I think, to have done that in the previous month leading up to this crazy push. And I am becoming much more bold in my messages to people as I'm responding to them and saying, hey, listen, you told me that this is what you wanted. And now you're telling me that you're going on vacation next week and you're not sure if you're going to have extra money. And I'm flat out telling people, dude, forget the souvenir t-shirt. Think about how you're going to feel when you come back from vacation and you've got your challenge pack ready to go. Aren't you going to feel better since you've just splurged all week? So I'm just kind of putting it out there and saying, hey, here's my little coach 2 cents worth. And I think if you kind of say, here's Traci being the coach, and then give it to them straight, people, at least in my opinion, people seem to respond well to that and appreciate that, because it's so rare in this day for people to actually be bold and tell you what needs to happen. And so that's, again, that's attractive to people, and it makes them want to be part of your circle. That's all I got. That was a lot of all over the place, especially when I couldn't make eye contact with you guys half the time. So hopefully it all made sense and you guys got, and here's the thing. Don't feel like you have to implement this all at one time like I did. You know, go for it. Totally go for it. But don't let the entire call go to waste because it was so much. Take 2 things, pick 2 things and act on those right away. If you don't act on them right away, it's worthless, right? Okay, I'll pass it back over to you, or I'll keep on talking.
Oh, she's like me. She's just going to keep talking. I love it. Okay, I'm just going to do that to her team in just a few minutes. Okay, let me unpin. Let's see. All right. There were so many good points. I mean, hopefully if you guys, I don't know if everybody can see the chat when I'm chatting to you guys, because some of you guys have it on your phone, and so then it's like hiding on another screen. But I was chatting random things, like it was a great idea. Definitely backing it up. So read through those. If anyone took the actual numerical notes, drop them on the event page. Yeah, please. If nobody did, well, okay, that's fine too. But does anyone have any specific questions that Traci can answer in our last however many minutes, like 7 minutes max before her team call? I feel like as she was speaking, there were different points she was making where I thought of like each of you for just little things where I'm like, oh, I've heard her have struggled there before, or oh, that's totally something she needs to hear, so on and so forth. So did everybody find something where you were able to relate to like what was going on? I love that idea of doing personal development in the morning, because what I usually do, honestly, is when I come in here before I start my one-on-ones, which are usually around 3 in the afternoon, I usually come in here 1-ish, and I just put it on when I'm like doing my emails, like doing my stuff. But I think doing that before you do anything is a way better plan, because it's going to set you up for a better day. And if you guys, I commented in there that I also, I do the thing where I won't open my inbox because I don't want to send 10 more links for people that aren't actually going to buy anything, because it's just effing depressing, man. Like, right? So I think that, I'm really good at like having a lot of stuff to do and checking it all off and being very productive, but not doing that one thing that honestly is going to make me the most money, which is answering those messages. It's going to grow the team the best. It's going to make me hit my goals the best. So I think having a different mindset about that would be helpful. And so far, whatever I'm doing isn't working. So I like the idea of doing the personal development first. Maybe I'll just eat that frog over again. Oh, are there questions?
I will also say, if you take focused energy or energized before you answer your messages, that helps too.
Yes. Who needs it to work out, really? Nobody. Use it to answer your emails. Come on.
Exactly.
Um,
Okay, so no, I am just working those 2 business centers. Somebody had asked whether I was working 2 pages, like my husband's page and my page, but no, I'm just, for my points, like when I'm having people enroll, they're either going to enroll under me, or when usually what happens, what I'm trying to do is if they're enrolling as a customer, they go under me. And if I need coaches under Matt, then they're going under Matt. And actually, when I say enrolling them as customers, that's under my second business center. So I am trying to be smart and pull up volume that way. But if they are customers and they want to switch over to coach, sometimes what I will do is have them switch while they're still a customer over to my husband. Then they enroll under him as a coach. So that I don't really care if he's getting Success Club points or not, but he is in those cases because they're new points for him. It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other, because we've been in the business long enough. It's not like he's accumulating elite points or anything. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Okay. Sorry, that look was not for you. My husband
that's okay.
Always doing weird things. I never know what he does. Yeah, you guys know that you can make sales under your spouse, right? Like, that's not news for anybody. That's why I always say you don't need to have your husband on Shakeology Home Direct, or your wife, I suppose. There is actually some men on the team. You don't have to have your husband on Home Direct. You can simply put a sale under them that's 50 PV, and they're active, right? I used to make Success Club under myself and then under Snow. I would just make 5 under him. But I only did that for the years that it made a difference for me for elite. And then when I was going for top 10, he didn't count for me anymore. So I was like, you're on your own, because I needed every single possible piece of volume, right? So he couldn't have anybody, because he was a 2-star, I think, at one point. He's diamond now, because I was like, oh, well, you're not important anymore. Sorry, honey. But now that it doesn't really matter either way anymore, I can do both, and then you get paid on all those Success Club leads that you used to get. Because getting Success Club leads, you guys, you go in the line, right? You go in the line, but it's just you. What if you could have 2 people in the line? Why not double it? So when you guys get to the point where you can give points away, making Success Club under your spouse is a great idea. It helps for elite, and it helps for Lori. I don't think you're supposed to take those together. But that's, your medical situation, not mine. If Lori dies of a heart attack, this conversation never happened. Oh, we're recording this. Okay, well, officially, I'm telling you it's a really bad idea. My official medical advice: don't take your pre-workout and your focus energy at the same time. At least have enough sense to take the pre-workout before you work out, and then take the focus energy in your post-workout psychology. Like, at least give me 25 minutes minimum, 225 span, please. All right, does anybody have anything else? Did that make sense, you guys, of the concept of where do I want to go? What do I need to do to get there? Versus I'm going to make Success Club somehow, maybe. Yeah? Because I feel like that's what we do, right? We're like, it'll work. I really like the idea, if you guys are struggling with the number of people because you're following my format of free 5-day, paid group, sneak peek, wrap up Success Club, you can always run another free group. You can always run another paid group. You can always run more stuff. And I posted in there, I like that she's using 2 different audiences. Like, you guys, a dance challenge and a bikini boot camp. Those couldn't be 2 more different audiences, right? But you, right now, you might have an audience that you want, because we figured out who your audience is, your ideal person. And you could put all of the most of your effort into that one. That could have the better picture and the better promotion and the whatever. But then you can capture everyone else in your little net with the rest of it. I think that's a great idea. I used to run 100 pounds plus to lose and under 30 pounds groups alternating, because I just never knew. Back then, I just didn't know who my audience was. So it wasn't on purpose. I was being smart. I just was confused. But if you guys are going for a big goal, don't just put all your eggs in that one basket, right? Try lots of things. So
that's a really good point. And that has been really helpful in the conversations that I've had with people, because there are so many people that they'll message back and say, well, I'm going to PT for my knees. And I'm able to say, well, you know what? Here's something else that's coming up that it possibly would be a much better fit for you. And then we are in, I think also just knowing in the future, like your next month out, what you have coming up, and specifically not just a date, but what does that group actually look like? And anymore, I feel like it's kind of hard in some ways, not knowing what the challenge pack sale is going to be that next month, you know, because there's a lot of us that are waiting. And then truthfully, it takes me 3 weeks to put together a challenge group. And by then I feel like I'm scrambling at the end of the month trying to use the sale. So I'm really kind of branching off and doing what I feel is right for my followers. And if it works out with the sale, great. And if not, it's still a great deal, you know? So like on June 16th, we're gonna do an emotional eating mastermind and use one of Janine Ross' books, God, Food, and Women, or Food, God, and Women, something like that. So I'm able to talk to people now that are not interested or couldn't say that Max 30 is the right program for them. And then I can say, this is coming up. It may be a bit different, but a better option for you. So it's kind of all, you know, like a stock market ticker, from beginners with size to exercisers experienced, and then it could be anybody here on the exercise level, and just keep rotating.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys, I'm always, you know, you guys have never seen me promote a sale except for the 3-day refresh. It's the only one. And I'll do like once a quarter, I'll do a 3-day refresh group. Because why? We already have all the resources to make one of those like that. There's no creativity required. There's no lead time required. We don't need anything. All the posts are made. All the meal plans are made. Everything. Anybody can take those anytime and run a 3-day refresh group. But I don't do sales because if I want to be strategic and not panic and give people time to order, so on and so forth, I can't rely on that information coming out like the 2 days beforehand. Like, that's not helpful. Like, I don't, and I think you're going to have a more genuine connection with people if you're sharing a program you genuinely enjoyed and had results with yourself, or a program that you are excited about doing, like a format with, like you want to do all busy moms, so you're only doing T25, or you want to, it's time for a challenge, so you're only doing Max 30, things like that. So I don't know. I feel like if you guys wait for that information, you're going to get yourself sort of behind at the start. And then if the sale works out, it works out. I think they're great, but I mean, they're already such a good value. The challenge packs are so, like, the value is, I'm going to talk about it on Traci's call. Like, they're crazy to me. So it doesn't necessarily matter what the sales are. And something to think about, you guys, Country Heat comes out in July. So what are you doing now to build your dancers, your women who need starting out workout type stuff? Could you run an emotional eating group? Like, because we're doing an emotional eating group right now. We're using the Food the Good Girls drug book. Could you run that now and get a big list of people who you know are going to need something, and maybe you're going to help them over that next month? And then they'll be ready to actually do an exercise program with you, perhaps a beginning program, since maybe they've shied away from fitness. I plan to do because there's a sneak peek of Country Heat on demand. So I plan to do a 30 for 30, which you guys know is what you buy the Shakeology samples for $30. You get the free trial on demand, 30-day challenge, where it's going to be dance based, and I'm going to have them spend a week using the Country Heat, and then by the end of the week they'll know the dance. And then they can do the same thing with the sneak peek aside. And there's a Hip Hop Abs and Rockin' Body have the same thing where you progress up to learning a dance. That's really easy. And then, but if I start that in the middle of June, they'll be finishing in the middle of July. That's how I got 50 Success Club points in 10 days when Pio released. I did a yoga challenge with whatever random yoga stuff I found on the internet and the Shakeology sampler, right? So don't forget, like, there's stuff. So when you're thinking, I don't have anything to invite to, talk about the ultimate reverse engineer for the next program that's coming out, right? So anyway, now I'm just talking. We can stop now. We can end this call. I'm all excited about that idea.
That's good. I've never heard that 30 for 30 before. So I just wrote that down.
We do it. We started it last June, and they raised the price of, they made 7-day sampler now, so it's $34.95. But I'm not going to do 35 for 35. That's just weird.
Yeah.
So I'm just using the old sampler link and then being like, if you wanted to get an extra one, you can get this. Whatever, like, because I already made all the marketing materials for it.
Right.
And I'm busy.
Right.
So I'm not redoing all that. It's just an easy way to get people in. And yeah, you guys can do personal development in there. And I'm a fan. So, okay, kids, I'll see you next week for recognition. Yeah. And we're going to learn about the BAT because a lot of people have been asking me, they don't really understand how to fill it out. So we're going to do recognition, and we're going to do the business activity tracker next week. Mostly it was just Sarah. Yes, that's you. But I wasn't going to call you out, but you totally called yourself out. That's cool. And then that'll be that. So you have 5 days? We have 5 days? I don't know. But remember, guys, Friday, the start of a holiday weekend, which means you got to lock down Success Club by like 3 o'clock, your local time. Because once people are out, they're out. They're going to be doing whatever. Yes, people will still be home. That's true. But they're going to be barbecuing and going on trips and playing with their kids and whatever. So if you're those people who think it's cool to wait till the last 2 days, your last 2 days are Thursday, Friday. Okay? Okay, cool. Awesome, guys. I'll see you on the team page. Thank you so much, Traci. I'll see you in like 4 minutes on your
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys. Talk to you later.